Hey guys, it's about beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Today we got another beer that Shane has sent to me. This is Mother's Brewing Company's Imperial 3 Blind Mice. And right off the bat I'm going to tell you, Beer Advocate calls this an alt beer, where Rate Beer calls this an American Strong Ale. So we got conflicting categories here, guys. And it doesn't say on the label what they're calling it. They're just calling it a brown ale. Let me read you what it's got. Imperial 3 Blind Mice. Once mother's little brown beer is now all grown up and running the show. Rich and full-bodied with chocolate, coffee, and caramel malt flavors. I can't read it. The writing on this freaking bottle is so small. Rich and full-bodied with chocolate, coffee, and caramel malt flavors, it bestows a noble hop nose and balanced finish on its loyal subjects. This is one regal brew fit for a king out on the town or home or in the castle. So, brewed and bottled by Mother's Brewing Company, Springfield, Missouri. 9.6% alcohol by volume, 38 IBUs. And it does have a date on the bottle of October the 1st of 2015. And it's written in yellow right here, the date is. Got the ABV on the label, got the IBUs on the label, and got the date on the bottle where you can read it with the beer in there. It's got all three things that we need as beer consumers and buyers on the bottle. Date, IBUs, ABV. We'd like to see what style they're going for, since we got alt beer and strong ale. I'd like for them to tell us what it is too, where they're trying to go with the beer, whether it's an alt beer or it's an American strong ale. But I guess you can make your mind up on your own once you try it and taste it. So, says here, hungry goes great with short ribs, bacon wrap fillets, everything bacon wrap is good. Smoked Gouda and treats like bundt cake and flourless chocolate torte, or torte, T-O-R-T-E. So, I don't get a lot of fancy desserts, so I don't know how to pronounce them. So, we'll see what this brings. So Shane, thanks a bunch for sending it to me. I cannot get Mother's Brewing beers here in Virginia. Must be a fairly small brewery. I'm not exactly sure. I don't live in Missouri, but both Rate Beer and Beer Advocate have ratings on this, so they must not be too small. And they also have a dating machine that's able to do that. Plus, they give us some additional information on the label with the IBUs and the ABV on there. So, very nice. Thumbs up to them for giving us all that information. Commercial description here. Let's see here. Commercial description here says Imperial 3 Blind Mice is exactly the same thing I read off the side of the bottle here. So, without further ado, let's go over. And they're calling this an alt beer here at Beer Advocate. So they're saying the food pairings are German, which is alt beer is a German style beer. Cheese of the earthy Camembert Fontina. The meat is smoked meat, game, and grilled meat. Glassware is the stains or the slender cylinder glass. I'm not going to grab that glass and bring it out, because they're calling this over at Beer Advocate a strong ale. So I'm going to pour it in my sovereign beer glass today, guys. I'm not going to get that stained out. And every time I pour beer in that glass, it produces a monster freaking head. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get it out. I'm going to deal with this glass. And not recommended for extended cellaring unless ABV extends average range. Well, at 9, well, that's another thing. Let's get back over to that. At 9.6% is what the bottle has on it, and that's what Rate Beer has. Beer Advocate has it listed as a 5.5%. So whether the recipe has changed or whatever is going on, and it's listed for 3 blind mice. So evidently they either changed, because the bottle that they have on Beer Advocate is not the same label I've got on this one over here. So evidently they've changed the recipe or something has happened. Because this is definitely not a 5.5%er. So basically I'm going to throw this out. I'm not even going to buy it because they've got the wrong ABV, they got the wrong bottle listed here, and they're calling it an alt beer. It's more likely going to be closer to an American Strong Ale than an alt beer, so we'll see. We'll get the cap off this puppy. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let's do that. Let's get the cap off of it and get it into the glass. They have a very nice label with a heart on it. It's got mothers, very similar to what you see on a tattoo. And I've kind of been known to have a tattoo or two in my life. Let's get this into the glass. Very brownish, dark colored beer coming out. Alright, about a finger of head on that pour. Very deep brown color it looks like. I can see a little bit of brown, red, ruby tinges coming here, mostly brown. Coming around the thin part of the glass on the bottom through the thick part. It is pretty dark. It is a deep, deep, dark brown color. Well, let's get a nose on this. Looks pretty good in the glass. Very sweet smelling. Caramel and toffee. Maybe some hint of some darker fruit in there. Not a big hop presence. To me it smells a lot like a barley wine. Not quite as sweet smelling, but definitely on the sweeter side. Maybe just a hint of some smokiness in there too. Well, let's give it a taste, see what we got. Cheers everybody. Cheers Shane. Thank you sir. A little bit of alcohol to go with that 9.6%. It's not super well hidden. You know you're drinking a big beer. Very nice. A very good beer to finish up the evening with this, which is what I'm doing, final beer of the evening. Very pleasant. I got a feeling once this warms up to room temperature, there's going to be a little bit more stuff coming out on the nose and the taste. But definitely a very nice sweet caramel toffee on the nose. Just a hint of some booziness in there, so let's see if that dissipates too. Well, I'm going to take it back and let her have a sip or 2 or 3 and sip on it for a little while. Might step outside on the porch and have a puff or 2 of a nice cigar while I'm sipping on it. It's been warm the last day or 2, and I think we got one more warm day in the 60s coming up before it's going to turn cold again. Winter time's not over. Kind of tasty. I like it. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on about 45 minutes or so. Definitely got a slight booziness to the beer. I mean, this may be a good one to cellar for a little while. The alcohol is not that well hidden. Nice caramel, toffee, hints of dark fruit, maybe a little cocoa in there. Very sweet on the back end. And like I said, Beer Advocate has the wrong ABV on this, so evidently they've changed this year's edition of it. They have it at 5.5%, and this is way almost twice that. This is a 9.6%, almost 10% beer. And a lot of times it's hard to hide the alcohol in a 10% beer, especially in this style. So, a little bit of spiciness in there. But the alcohol could be a little more subdued, but you got to realize you're drinking an almost 10% beer. Final chug. For an almost 10%, it's got kind of a thin mouthfeel. But a lot of flavors going on in there with the caramel and the toffee and the sweetness and the dark fruit, the hints of cocoa, some spiciness in there. So definitely a nice beer, a great beer to finish up the evening with. But like I said, the alcohol is not that well hidden. It could be just a little bit more balanced, or the alcohol could be just a little bit more well hidden and stuff in there. Just my 2 cents, guys. I don't think it's quite to the A category, even though they've got the date on it and they've got the IBUs and the ABV on there. Just didn't do it for me. It is a tasty beer. Don't get me wrong. It is a tasty beer. Definitely above average beer. But I just think it could be just a little more balanced than what it is, and the alcohol could be just a little bit more well hidden than what it is. So, but very enjoyable on top of that. Very nice beer to finish up the evening with. To me, guys, with all the information that's on there, I was on the fence between a B or a B plus. If it wasn't for the booziness of the beer, I would probably go ahead and give it to B plus. But since it is still kind of boozy now that it's warmed up to room temperature, I'm gonna give it to B. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, guys, it'd probably be an 86. Maybe even 87 with all the information they've given us on the bottle. So, very tasty beer. Kicking on the door, not quite there, but it's definitely a nice B beer. But I could just as easily give it a B plus. It's not quite to the A category in my opinion, guys. So, and if you say, "Oh man, you're crazy," it's a B plus or it's an A minus or whatever, wouldn't argue with that. It's very well, but the booziness is basically what put me off on the beer. I could think it would be just a little more balanced than what it is. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If you've had this one from Mother's Brewing Company, like I said, they're calling it a rate beer, American Strong Ale. So it's kind of a muddy line between an alt beer or an Imperial and a strong ale, American Strong Ale. So with that ABV of almost 10%, it's a pretty potent beer. Definitely think you wouldn't want to drink 2 or 3 of these in one setting. You definitely know you've had 3 almost 10% beers. So, and if you do have that many of them, you need to be at home or have somebody driving your ass home. So, don't try to drink 3 of these and drive somewhere. That's for sure. That's where I'm going to leave this one, guys. Like I said, Beer Advocate doesn't even have the right ABV or anything on there, so we're going to leave that. We're going to leave that rating completely out. It's not even. It's not even. And over to Rate Beer. Rate Beer is calling it American Strong Ale. I got the right ABV, and they're calling the IBUs 36 on here, which is what the bottle has. It's either 36 or 38. They write so small on these bottles for my old eyes. Got 38 on the bottle, so little bit bigger number than what they've got here on Rate Beer. So very tasty. If you've had it from them, Mother's Brewing Company, this is their 3 Blind Mice. Let me know what you think. Very tasty. I do appreciate Shane picking this up and sending it to me. Like I said, I can't get their beers here in Virginia, so very nice, very tasty. Thank you, Shane. Do appreciate it. And if you've had it from them, let me know what you think of it, guys. And come on back tomorrow. Let's go dig something out of the fridge. See you then.